There are moments in the entertainment world that stop everyone in their tracks. Moments so raw and unfiltered that they pierce through the screen and touch the hearts of everyone watching. This was one of those moments. It happened when Jung Il-woo, the charming and often private actor loved by millions, went live on social media. At first, no one knew what to expect. Fans assumed it would be another lighthearted interaction, a few laughs, maybe some behind-the-scenes updates. But instead, what unfolded was something no one saw coming. Jung Il-woo, in tears, his voice shaking, delivering a confession that left fans stunned, and all eyes turning toward one woman. Sandara Park. The live began innocently enough. Jung Il-woo appeared on screen, sitting in what looked like his living room, dressed casually, a warm lamp casting a soft light behind him. His hair was slightly tousled, and his eyes, though smiling at first, carried a heaviness. Viewers flooded the comments with greetings and hearts, calling his name, telling him they missed him. But he didn't start with his usual cheerful tone. Instead, there was a long pause. He looked down, as if gathering the courage to speak, and then he said quietly, "I wasn't planning to say this today, but I can't hold it in anymore." The comments exploded instantly. "What's wrong? Are you okay? Tell us." But Jung Il-woo didn't rush. His voice was low, each word deliberate. He began to talk about the last few months of his life, the projects, the events, the people he had been surrounded by. And then, his words took a turn. He spoke about how, in the middle of all the chaos of filming and schedules, there was someone who became his safe place. Someone who understood him in ways he never expected. Someone whose presence could turn his most exhausting day into one worth remembering. That someone, without him ever needing to say her name, was obvious to everyone watching, Sandara Park. He spoke about her kindness first. How she never judged, never pressured, and always seemed to know exactly when he needed a word of encouragement or a simple smile. "You meet a lot of people in this industry," he said, his voice trembling slightly, "but very few stay when things get hard." She stayed. Fans noticed his eyes glistening, his jaw tightening as if holding back the flood of emotions. Then, for a moment, he looked directly into the camera, his expression breaking completely. "I think she saved me more times than she even realizes," he said, his voice cracking. The live chat went wild, hundreds of people typing, "It's Dara, isn't it? We know who you mean. Say her name, Il-woo." But instead of confirming it outright, he smiled faintly through his tears and said, "Some things you don't have to say to be understood." The floodgates opened then. Jung Il-woo began to share little stories, moments fans had never heard before. The time he was on the verge of quitting a project because the stress was unbearable, but she called him in the middle of the night and simply listened to him vent. The time he messed up during a big rehearsal and felt like a complete failure, only for her to show up unannounced with food and that infectious laugh of hers, reminding him that life is bigger than one bad day. He even recalled a moment on set when he was visibly struggling, and she slipped him a note that said, "You're doing better than you think." As he spoke, it became clear that this wasn't just admiration. It was deeper. This was gratitude mixed with something far more tender, an emotional bond that had quietly grown behind the cameras. And in that raw live moment, fans felt like they were witnessing the truth that had been hiding in plain sight for years. But this wasn't just about romance, at least, not entirely. Jung Il-woo also spoke about the pressure of his career, the loneliness that often came with fame, and the toll it took on him mentally. "I'm not as strong as I look," he admitted. And sometimes you meet someone who sees all the cracks in you, but instead of walking away, they help you hold the pieces together. The live went on for over 20 minutes, with Jung Il-woo alternating between sharing heartfelt stories and sitting in silence as the comments poured in. Some fans cried with him. Others typed messages of support, telling him they were proud of him. And while he never once confirmed outright that he was speaking about Sandara Park, every shared memory, every described gesture pointed directly to her. At one point, he paused and looked down at his phone screen, clearly reading the flood of comments. His lips curved into a soft, almost shy smile. "She might be watching this," he murmured, "and if she is, thank you. You have no idea how much you've done for me." His voice broke again, and he looked away from the camera, taking a deep breath before continuing. By the time he ended the live, fans were left reeling. The hashtag Jung will live began trending within minutes, with clips of the most emotional part spreading across social media. News outlets picked it up almost immediately, with headlines like Jung Woo's emotional live leaves fans guessing about Sandara Park and a confession without a name. Jung Woo's tearful message stirs speculation. Backstage industry insiders claim that the timing of his live was no coincidence. Some whispered that Jung Woo had been carrying these emotions for months, perhaps even years, and that something recently might have pushed him to finally let it all out. Others speculated that he and Sandara had grown even closer lately, and this was his way of showing the world without making it official. As for Sandara Park, she stayed silent in the hours after the live. No tweets, no posts, no statements. But then, late that night, she shared something subtle, a single photo of a night sky, captioned with the words, "Some truths are felt, not spoken." Fans immediately linked it to Jung Woo's live, interpreting it as her quiet acknowledgement of his heartfelt words. And so, the mystery deepened. Was this the beginning of a public reveal of their bond? Or just another chapter in a story that only the two of them truly understood? Either way, one thing was certain: the live wasn't just a moment of vulnerability. It was a rare, unfiltered glimpse into the heart of a man who, for once, stopped hiding behind the polished image of a celebrity and spoke as someone simply grateful and deeply moved by one person's presence in his life. On K-Drama Cycle, we'll be keeping a close watch on what happens next, because if this live was any indication, the story of Jung Woo and Sandara Park is far from over. And for fans, that's exactly the kind of emotional cliffhanger they'll be talking about for weeks to come. In the days following Jung Woo's emotional live, the online world didn't quiet down. It only grew louder. Fans dissected every word, every pause, every look he gave during that broadcast. Compilation videos flooded YouTube, pairing his words with old footage of him and Sandara Park together at events, interviews, and variety shows. The chemistry that once felt like playful camaraderie now looked, to many, like something deeper all along. Meanwhile, industry insiders began to leak whispers of a private meeting between Jung Woo and Sandara just a day after the live. According to one source, they were spotted leaving a quiet cafe in Seoul late at night, both wearing caps and masks, walking close enough that it was impossible not to notice the familiarity. No photos surfaced, just eyewitness accounts, but it was enough to reignite speculation. And then came the twist. A close friend of Sandara, in a cryptic social media post, wrote, "Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is tell the truth in your own way." The timing was too perfect to ignore. Fans took it as yet another indirect sign that Sandara had heard Jung Woo loud and clear, and that she might be preparing her own quiet response soon. For now, both stars remain silent, letting the public talk while they keep their real conversations behind closed doors. But one thing is clear: that live wasn't just a fleeting moment. It was the spark that might push a long-hidden connection into the light. And when it does, the K-drama world won't be ready for the storm it brings.